subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Hello guys, this is NP Chan. Welcome to my mathematics class. Let's see today's topic. Derivatives of trigonometrical functions from first principles, or you can say from definition or from delta method. I've taken some questions of trigonometrical functions. How to find out the derivatives of sine of 4x, cos of 2x, tan of 5x, sec of 2x, and sec of 4x. Some of them I will tell you the method how to find out the derivatives from first principles. Thereafter you can do the remaining questions. Okay, so let's start. Let y is equal to sine of 4x. Let delta x be the small increment in x. Delta y be the corresponding small increment in y. Let's say this one is your first equation. Then after this line we can write down y becomes y plus delta y. After increment, sine 4x becomes sine of 4 times x plus delta x, means is equal to, you may write down sine of 4x plus 4 delta x. Or let's simplify. Delta y is equal to sine of 4x plus 4 delta x minus, you can transmit from left hand side y to right side. Y, we can use the value of y from first. Minus, instead of y you can write down sine of 4x. Now how to simplify? Now we have sine c minus sine d form, right? Sine c, here I have written some key points. Whatever we need to crack down on, that is to find out the derivative of these functions. Here this line is in this form, sine c minus sine d. I have written already formula for this. Sine c minus sine d is equal to cos c plus d by 2 times sine of c minus d by 2. Here this is your c and this one is your d. 4x plus 4 delta x represents c, and simply 4x represents your d. Let's apply this one formula, sine c minus sine d. In this question you need to apply cos c minus cos d. This line becomes 2 cos of 4x plus 4 delta x minus, plus upon 2, whole upon 2 sine 4x plus 4 delta x minus 4x c minus d upon 2. 2 cos 4x plus 4x 8x delta x upon 2. I'm going to tell you in details. Sine of, here they will cancel out. Here 4 delta x by 2 delta x, simply you will get 2 delta x, or 2 cos, here you may write down 8x by 2 4x, and 4 goes by 2 2 delta x times sine of 2 delta x. Either you may write down bracket, or without bracket also you may write down. This is the value of delta y. What is the first principles? Let me tell you. If we have y is equal to here and a function f of x, then dy by dx is equal to limit as delta x tends to 0 delta y by delta x, or equals to limit as delta x tends to 0 f of x plus delta x minus f of x upon delta x. This is the definition of derivative of your function, derivative of continuous function, you can say. Now let's divide. In order to find the derivative from first principles, we have to find out delta y by delta x. Now you will divide this line by delta x. Delta y by delta x is equal to cos 4x plus 2 delta x sine of 2 delta x by delta x. As we know the limits, because we have to ultimately use limit in limits of trigonometrical function, these are the key points. Limit of sine x upon x as x tends to 0 is equal to 1. Limit of cos x as x tends to 0 equals to 1. And limit of tan x of x when x tends to 0 equals to 1. Here we have cos, so no problem. So for this we have to make this form sine of x over x we have to make here, or delta y by delta x, or we will do little bit arrangements here. So whatever arrangements we will do here, you can see 2 4. Okay, so let's write down firstly 2 cos of 4x plus 2 delta x times sine of 2 delta x by delta x. We need here 2 delta x. See here, let's sine of x over x, we want to make same sine of 2 delta x, so here also 2. So let's make 2 delta x, so you can take also 2, right? And times 2 you can write down. Okay, 2 here write down, it doesn't matter here. So problem, I don't think you have problem. After that I'm going to write down here, or delta y by delta x is equal to, and 2 times 2 4 cos 4x plus 2 delta x times your sine of 2 delta x over 2 delta x. Now we have simplified and we have brought at least in this form. Now we got the value of delta y by delta x, and to find out dy by dx we have to use limit. We have, means from definition, dy by dx is equal to limit delta y by delta x when delta x tends to 0 is equal to limit as delta x tends to 0. You may write down the value of delta y by delta x from here. For cos 4x plus 2 delta x times sine of 2 delta x over 2 delta x. I don't think you have any problem here. Is equal to, now I'm writing separately, delta x tends to 0, 4 cos 4x plus 2 delta x. 4 is coefficient, we may write down outside also, and limit delta x tends to 0 sine of 2 delta x over 2 delta x is equal to, now this is the purely question of limits. Let's simplify, and 4 cos 4x plus 2 delta x tends to 0 when delta, okay, and into 1. So how we got 1? Using this one here, you may write down, okay, since limit of x tends to, limit of sine of x over x when x tends to 0 is equal to 1. Using this property, we have done so many questions in limits. I also think you have a huge problem before starting the derivatives. You might have done limits. So here 1. Then the final line, you will have 4 cos 4x. So this is the derivative of, and now this one is the derivative of sine 4x by using delta method, or from definition, or you can say from first principles. So simple and very important. We have done this question, derivative of sine 4x by delta method from first principle, and the same trick you have to apply here, right? This formula I've written here, you may use this one for cos, right? So cos of any, it doesn't matter, okay, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, okay. Sorry, you can do very easy with the help of this method. And if I tell, okay, tan, then sec, cosec also you can do in the same way, right? So I'm going to tell you the derivative of tan 5x, because we have a not formula of tan c minus tan d. Then what we will do there? So let's see. Let y is equal to tan of 5x. Let's say this one first. And if you are doing from first principles, then definitely you will write down here, let delta x with the same as I have written for the first question. So I'm not writing then y plus delta y after increment tan of 5 of x plus delta x, which becomes your tan of 5x plus 5 delta x, or delta y is equal to tan of 5x plus 5 delta x minus y. So let's put the value of y from first. Delta y is equal to tan of 5x plus 5 delta x minus tan of 5x. You can see using first. As you know, we don't have formula for tan c minus tan d, but after that, what to do? We can convert into sine and cos, right? In terms of sine and cos, easy way. Delta y here, in case of sec, you can write down in terms of cos, and thereafter, and in case of a cosec, you can write down in terms of sine, right? Tan sine of 5x plus 5 delta x over cos 5x plus 5 delta x minus sine of 5x over cos of 5x. Now you have to simplify by taking LCM. Cos of 5x plus 5 delta x cos 5x, and here sine 5x plus 5 delta x into cos 5x minus cos 5x plus 5 delta x into sine of 5x. Now if we see very carefully, sine A cos B minus cos A sine B, this is an also gain formula. So one more formula I'm writing here. Sine A cos B minus cos A sine B is equals to sine of A minus B, right? Equals to sine of A minus B. So exactly the same thing we can write down here. Sine of A minus B. This is your A and this represents B. 5x plus 5 delta x minus B minus 5x over cos 5x plus 5 delta x times cos 5x. Or delta y is equal to sine of 5x minus 5x. Here positive and negative. So okay, I'm going to cancel. You will have sine 5 delta x over cos of 5x plus 5 delta x and times cos 5x. We have simplified, and now divide both sides by delta x. After doing up to this line, you can divide by delta x. Sine of 5 delta x over, if you divide this by delta x, you're gonna get here sine of 5 delta x over delta x times cos of 5x plus 5 delta x times cos 5x. So I'm going to do little bit arrangement here. 5 times sine of 5 delta x over 5 delta x. To make same, thereafter I can use this formula or this theorem, you can say, and times 1 upon cos 5x plus 5 delta x and times cos 5x. So easy. Now we can apply definition. We have dy by dx, or you may write down by definition limit of delta y by delta x as delta x tends to 0 is equal to limit delta x tends to 0. Now you can write down the value of delta y by delta x, that is 5 times sine of 5 delta x over 5 delta x times 1 upon cos 5x plus 5 delta x times cos 5x, a lack of space, is equal to, so 5 outside we can write down because of constant limit as delta x tends to 0 sine of 5 delta x over 5 delta x and into limit delta x tends to 0 1 over cos of 5x plus 5 delta x times cos 5x. So I think you have no problem line wise. I'm telling line wise in details. Now here we can use this one theorem. Using this theorem, you are gonna get here 1 and times limit of this one here, delta x tends to 0, so 5 delta x also tends to 0, and you get only just 5x and times 5x, right? And if you simplify this, you will get sine over 5 over cos square 5x is equal to 5 sec square 5x. This is the derivative of tan of 5x. What is the derivative of tan of 5x? You can say the derivative of tan of 5x equals to 5 sec square 5x. So we have done from delta methods, or you can say from first principle. Similarly, you can crack down these questions, remaining questions. All right. If you get any problem, you can tell me. You can write down in comment box. If you are newcomers, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you think it's valuable to students who are studying mathematics and who needs derivatives, please share to them also. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.